We should have semaphores now.
Why is YouTube not working? There. Oh. Now it's live? Well, it doesn't have a chat though. I don't know why.
So weird. Do you have like a there's like a content warning thing on there?
I don't think so.
Just why is this not working?
You need to go to the YouTube Studio control room page, click on Edit, go to Customization, and toggle live chat on.
All right. Well, you guys ready? Gotcha. Just let me know when you guys are ready. Tsukuba. Yeah. All right. I'm going to mute myself. You guys ready?
Already loaded up into the server and we're ready to go for these first drivers to hit the track and put down some good qualifying runs today, hopefully.
Yeah, gonna be very exciting. We got a lot of very well-known names and a lot of newcomers here as well today, so very excited to see how this goes.
Absolutely. We got Cobalt Mongoose up to the line first in that RPS S13.5. Really nice into that first entry. Getting all the way into that inside clip. Wasn't able to get all the way deep into that inside zone there, but nice and easy out into this outside zone wall. Started to fade out near the end there, but overall not too bad. Filling the zone very well. Out into the grass across the finish line.
And a very nice done there. Nicely done run by Cobalt. Actually his first time qualifying, so very good to see him come out here and throw down with all these other guys.
Wow. Not bad. For a first run, well, we'll see what the judges think.
Looks like next up, while the judges are getting that all together, we're going to have Joel Wilson coming to the line, getting staged up and ready to go. Joel Wilson, I believe, also known as Dilus, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Very well-known name. Not a name that everybody is unfamiliar with. Very prominent in the comp scene.
All right.
So, like, judges are potentially still deliberating here.
Yep. Cool. Just waiting on that big number that will determine who gets into the field for tomorrow. And for Cobalt Mongoose, a 54.3 on his first run.
All right, 54.3 for Mongoose on the first run. Going to switch it over here to Joel now in the beautiful C6 Corvette. At the line, ready to send it. Just waiting on that start light to go. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, and Joel is off in that beautiful C6 Corvette. Making his way around the bubble and initiates. Very nicely into that first outside zone, into the inner clip. A little bit of left foot brake to get it there, but makes it happen. Transition through to the next inner clip. Very nicely done. A little bit lacking the angle going through that outside zone, but still made it fit the entire way. And crazy angle going into the wall, putting the back end of that Corvette right where it needs to be. Holds through all the way. Now transitioning into the next outside zone, right on that white line. Very nicely done. And through the last outside zone across the line. Very good run overall there for Joel Wilson.
Able to keep it on the track for that one. Across the line. Love to see that.
Yeah, I almost thought for a second there that he was going to get that wall. It was very aggressive going into the outside wall there, but you'll have to see him stick through like that for sure.
He definitely just slung it in there. Surprised he was able to hold on to it.
Yeah, very impressive. Making that Corvette look like it's an easy machine to handle, but honestly, all these cars in the OGP pack, they are some wild machines.
Yeah, definitely takes a certain kind of driver to make these things work in your favor.
Absolutely.
But I think that adds to the glory of them. I love a car that you have to drive.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things I like about this OGP pack, and I'm sure we're going to see quite a bit of it here today, is that you actually do need to know kind of a little bit about what you're doing in order to make everything work. A little bit of tuning, a little bit of driver skill going on.
Yeah.
Looks like we're waiting for scores to drop in here. Looks like potentially a little bit of a mix-up with the driver roster going on here. We're just going to let everything get straightened out here quick.
Yeah.
Just one moment here, folks, so we figure this out.
That was certainly interesting.
Yeah, it looks like potentially a little bit of an issue here going on with a mix-up of what driver is under which names. Try to avoid these things by having drivers sign up with a matching name to what they compete under, but a couple of them slipped through the cracks. So just give us one moment here, folks. We're going to try to get this all sorted out. Oh, wait, it looks like we do have... now we've got Joel Wilson to the line here. Okay, in an E92.
Yep. A little late on that initiation. And real shallow getting into there, making it out to that outside zone though. Really shallow. Almost looks like he has no power in that car. It's real gripped up. Unable to get those tires spinning. And man, this is... And there it is. Oh, heavy into the wall. That was certainly not the way you want to have your qualifying run go, but luckily you get 2 of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully he'll be able to clean that up for the next run. Get everything kind of straightened out.
Absolutely.
And just to fill everybody in who's watching so that we're all on the same page here, there was a little bit of a mix-up between what driver was in what car there. So that previous run that we saw from the Corvette, as lovely as that run was, we are going to have to consider that just a random mode of practice run there as we get everything straightened away. So it was actually Xylus in the Corvette. We needed Strange Angle, aka Joel Wilson, in the E92, and that's what we just saw.
Yep.
So now we should be having, looks like Titus coming to the line.
Yeah, looking like he's driving that another RPS S13.5.
I gotta say, this might be my favorite car in this pack in terms of looks. Such a beautiful kit on that thing. It sounds phenomenal too.
Oh, absolutely.
Here we go, getting Titus pulled up to the line.
Hey,
now.
from the cameraman, it's not showing scores correctly, so we're gonna have to announce them. I'm sorry.
Nope,
all right.
Nope, that's perfectly fine. All right, and here we go. The lights are going to be going out for Titus now. Taking off in that beautiful 13.5. Around the bubble and initiates into that first outside zone. Very nice on the rumble into the inner clip, pretty much right where you need to be. Second inside clip, also right where you need to be, and holding that very nice angle going through the next outside zone into the wall. Very, very close on the wall. You're love to see that. Sticks it out as far as it can. Comes up a little bit towards the end there. Transition through to the second to last could have been a little bit deeper, but still definitely there. A little bit of a tire drop over that last outside zone, but across the line for overall, it's a pretty decent run. Definitely some things that could be cleaned up for the second, but a very nice job for Titus.
Absolutely. That was a better run than we saw previous, but an absolute masterclass. And I hope to see a lot more runs like that coming up.
Absolutely. A couple things that need to be cleaned up there. Got to stay out of that grass, but other than that, very nicely done. Made that initiation look like it was easy, and it definitely is not.
No, absolutely not.
Judges are slotting in their scores right now. And that's going to be a 75. 75 on the board for Titus on that first run. Currently putting Titus in first position. As we move on.
How about that? Looks like we'll have Jonathan Castillas coming up to the line next. Who I believe was that C6 we saw from before. So I was able to get a little lucky practice in there. But he's ready to go for his first run.
The real first run this time.
The real first run. Hopefully he puts on as good as of a run that we saw last time.
Here we go, making his way to the line.
Getting those front tires warm, ready. As now we wait on the light. And away we go. First official run here for Jonathan. Good initiation, getting tight onto that inside clip. Same on the second. Hold a nice angle through that second outer zone. Deep back onto that wall again. Holding it deep in the zone. All the way across the wall. And filling those zones to near perfection.
Definitely looks like he took some of the issues that he had in that quote-unquote practice run that we had go on before and cleaned some of it up. So very nice run there from Xylus, also known as Jonathan, I've just learned. So
yeah.
Cool to not have to call him Xylus every single time now. I do got to say,
No.
out of all the cars that I painted in this pack, this might be one of my favorites.
It definitely the I feel the Corvette really opens itself up to like great paints like this just due to the body lines.
Absolutely.
And it looks like we do have a score in, and it is a 72.5, putting him second so far. Not a bad
Very
run.
nice run.
Yeah.
Looks like next up we're going to have another one of my drivers here from Team Kinetic. Going to have Brett Pritchard, also known as iReal, pulling up to the line in this beautiful E36, which actually is my favorite car. Speaking of cars that I got to paint with this pack. Just something about this kit, man. This kit looks so good with this livery.
Oh, yeah.
As he pulls up to the line here, just waiting for those 3, 2, 1 lights to go. Definitely excited to see how this one goes. We got a lot of E36s in the mix today. I believe this was the most preferred car, according to the sign-up sheets. So hope you guys like E36s, because we're going to be seeing a lot of them throughout the day.
Absolutely. We had, I think, 12 people enter into the E36.
And here we go, seeing our first run with it right now as he goes to initiate. Hitting that first outside zone, very nicely done. Grabbing that inner clip a little bit with the front bumper, but not too bad. And does get, that looks like that third hash mark on the next. Filling that outside zone, a little bit of angle loss, but now going into the wall. Very, very inside, unfortunately, but he does actually manage to get it back out for half of, if not a third of that zone. Now transitioning into the second to last. Could have been a little bit deeper. And same on that last outside zone, but still filling the zones, not getting an incomplete here by the looks of it. Didn't straighten up, did an over angle. So
No,
a safe run, but a run nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely not what we've seen from the top guys, but definitely good enough to get a score in, that's for certain.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely going to at least be a score on the board here by the looks of things, as the judges are starting to go ahead and slot in. Not going to be one of our highest scores so far, and it looks like the total comes in at a 47 right now on the board for that run. So not an incomplete, however, still a score on the board. Just got to clean it up for the next one.
Absolutely. We'll see these drivers complete their second runs now, as we have allowed everyone to get their first runs in. So we'll see these guys pull back up and do it all over again, hopefully a little better than they initially thought they could. As we see Cobalt Mongoose pull back up to the line here. Now remember, he's working on a 54.3, not exactly where you want to be. So hopefully he can put a better score on the board.
Maybe see a little bit of improvement here.
Yeah. Driver waiting anxiously. And wait no more as he's off. Whipping it into initiation. Real good onto that inside clip. Getting the bumper right onto that cone. A little further back in inner clip too. Filling out the zone well. Sliding it nice and tight into that wall. Filling that zone. Almost filling all of that zone, but able to get out to the final zone. And a lot better run, I'd say.
Absolutely, and he's even putting his money where his mouth is. He asked me in our team briefing before this event if he could throw a 360 at the end of his qualifying run, and he did it. There it is.
Love him. Love sticking to your word.
Absolutely. Definitely better than that previous run for sure. We'll see what the judges say here.
Absolutely. So I believe we have, it was 43 drivers qualifying today. And he will improve with a 71.2, putting him third right now, right under Jonathan Castillas.
Definitely a very big improvement from the 54.3 that he put on prior there.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to be having Joel Wilson come up to the line. However, looks like Jonathan is trying to get to the line first instead. But no, here we go. Everything is getting
There we go.
corrected as we go. So Joel
We're
Wilson
about to-
coming to the line at that E92.
Trying to steal another practice run.
Yeah, seriously, he caught us out on the first one, and now he knows. There we go. Now we've got Joel Wilson up here to the line. That beautiful E92. Very, very
Absolutely.
big car compared to some of the others in this pack, which might work for him, might not.
Maybe we'll have to see. It is a very tight technical track. But let's see if he can make it into the...
We wait for the start lights to go. Here we are. 3, 2, 1, and send it for Joel Wilson. Goes through that chicane. And initiates. Almost misses that first outside zone, but still holding him in drift. Does get that outer hash mark. Going through the next inner clip, about the same, and then he looks like shallows up a little bit going to that outside zone, but does still keep it in drift. Now coming into the wall, very close to hitting it on that transition going in there, but does manage to keep at least a tire through that zone. Now a little bit better through this outside zone, transitioning to the last. Fills that zone pretty good. So yeah, definitely a score, not a 0 this time, so should be a score on the board there for Joel, which is always good. It's always good to have some kind of improvement between your runs.
Exactly. That's all you want to do. You know, you just want to get better. It definitely seems like that E92 is extremely gripped up.
Yeah, very, very gripped up car. Might have to raise those tire pressures going into battles if you make it there. For sure.
Yep.
Waiting for the judges to slot in their scores here. And it's not going to be the greatest score in the world. It's going to be a 45.2. However, that is a much better thing to see there for Joel Wilson than a double incomplete. So going to be putting that 45.2 on the board. And we're going to move on to the next driver.
And that will be... I believe it will be Titus making his way up back to the line. In the red S13.5.
Getting those tires warmed up in a little bit of a different way this time coming to the line.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. See if it plays out. As now we wait to see the lights. And away we go. Big flick into initiation. Holding it tight. Hitting that cone that we got set there. Nice and wide into the outside zone. Throwing in real nicely, nice and smooth onto that wall. Start pulling away a little bit towards the middle part of that zone, but filling out these last two zones real nicely. Across the line. Looking to improve on a 75. Personally, I think he did.
Yeah, I'm obviously not a judge at this event, but I think I would agree with you there. That looked a lot better and a little bit smoother than that first run. Very, very nicely done by Titus.
And the judges agree, an 81.3, keeping him high up on the top of the board. That's going to be the score to beat.
And a score to beat it is. And speaking of people who are looking to beat that score, looks like our next driver up here, I believe should be Jonathan Casillas. Yep, here we go. Jonathan Casillas is going to be our next driver in that C6 Corvette. We saw him throw down his practice run, tried to sneak another one on us, but we caught him before he could.
Yep. Looking to improve on that 72.5. And man, sitting second right now. That's going to be a good feeling on your second run. All you got to do, you're in a good spot. You know, we still have a lot of drivers left to see, but right now, looking not too terribly. It's always got to be a good feeling going into your second run.
Oh, absolutely. And to be going into a second run with a score on the board like what he's got already, previously put down that 72.5, definitely in a good position right now, but always looking to improve that score. And with a machine like this, definitely a good car to be having behind you for it.
Absolutely.
Go ahead here, Casellas waiting at the line. Revving up that motor a little bit, waiting for those lights to go. And here we are, 3, 2, 1, and away he goes. This beautiful C6 Corvette around the bubble. Initiates, could have been a little bit deeper on that outside zone, but gets it right where it needs to be for that inside clip as it transitions through. Hitting the third hash mark there as well, into the next outside zone. Holds it pretty good, could have been a little deeper again. Now into the wall run, very, very low, but does still manage to keep a tire in and cleans it up for the second half of that outside zone. Transition through to the second to last, putting it right out on the white line. Very nicely done there. Through the last zone, same thing, and across the line, a very good run. I would definitely say there were some improvements, however, also some parts that were done a little bit worse in that first run. A little bit of a mixed review from me, but we'll have to see what the judges say.
Yeah, definitely. It did seem like he scrubbed a little bit too much speed coming into that inner two, and just wasn't able to carry enough speed going into that wall. It's a very important part of the track.
Yeah, absolutely. Judges are slotting in their score here. Let's see, will he improve? And no, he will not improve, unfortunately. Looks like it's going to be a 67.2 on the board there for that second run, which understandable. Definitely some things to clean up there, but still has a pretty safe score on the board.
Absolutely. We'll see our final driver of Group 1 pull up to the line here. Real driving for Team Kinetic.
Another one of my drivers here. Still the same guy who was in the E36 before, but gonna have to clean some stuff up for the second run here.
Yeah, sitting on the board with a 47. So definitely a lot to improve on.
Waiting to see here if he's going to be pulling up to the line. Looks like he's just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, just
see what's going on here.
You got a rev? There we are. Car's fired up.
Now
there we
back to
go.
life. He hasn't been feeling so great, so he might be a little bit laggy behind right now. It's been rough here in PA. The weather's been messing with all of us.
Oh man. Shout out to all the people also in Indiana surviving those windstorms.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, it's brutal out there.
Hope everyone is safe. And hopefully no valuables damaged. I did see a couple roofs blown off.
The next couple of days too. A lot of severe weather coming up across the country. Not gonna be fun.
Nope.
But what is fun is right here at OGP.
Exactly. There's nothing better to take you away from the struggles of the weather than drifting.
Waiting on those lights to go.
Yep. Sitting, waiting patiently.
Looks like the judges are just deliberating something really quick before we get on with this next run here, so just bear with us, guys. Looks like a little bit of a technical error going on. So we're just going to get that corrected quick, and then we'll get this run underway.
And away we go. Finally got those lights extinguished. iReal ready to get going for his second run here. Big initiation into that first zone. Taking out that inner clip cone. Able to get to that second hash mark on the second inner clip. Floating it out all the way to the grass. Real shallow on entry to that wall. But able to back it up to get a tire into the zone. Real shallow into that zone. And dropping another tire across the line.
Definitely not the best run that we've seen today. However, and I will say, definitely looked to me like an improvement over the first run that we saw from iReal here.
Definitely,
From
we'll have
everything
to.
that I saw.
Well, definitely. Just have to see if the judges feel the same way.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we are just two guys talking to everybody who's watching here. We do not do the scores. That is not us. So don't get mad at us for what we say.
Exactly.
Waiting for the judges to slot in their scores here. Does look like they got that technical issue figured out, so that's good. Good to see that get resolved.
Perfect. Hopefully, smooth sailing as we get into our later runs. Right now, still waiting on a score.
Take a moment to talk about it while we wait for that score to slide in. The OGP cars, very, very nice pack of cars here. Some livery work that I got to do myself for them. Unfortunately, we didn't really have time to do like 17 different liveries for each car, so it is just two per car, but they do look pretty good nonetheless.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Look great, sound great, drive great.
Can't beat it.
Absolutely not. And you can get your hands on them today at Vosan. And also, additionally, I believe they are on Gripped Up Mods as well.
That is correct. Go get your hands on the cars today. The track is also available on both of those websites as well. So if you want to drive what you guys are watching on screen, you can absolutely go do that. Give yourself a challenge. See what kind of run you can put down. You may not be here competing today, but you can always go for bragging rights in the Discord chat.
Exactly. And post your runs. Trash talk. All the drivers who couldn't complete one.
You do have that option.
You do have that option. It may not make you many friends. Now let's get that out of the way. You're not gonna.
Didn't see that score come in here yet. Still waiting on that score to show up.
Yeah, but so we are starting to get the next group in here as they go ahead and finish judging that run.
The next group is getting loaded in a while we wait for that score to drop in.
And as the judges deliberate on the scores, we're just going to go ahead and let these drivers get their little bit of practice.
Well, while these guys are practicing a while, just to talk about a couple of the things that we've got going on here at OGP. One of the cool things that just got announced recently is the partnership with ESDA. Initial Die,
Absolutely.
a very, very long time figure in the comp scene. For sure. I don't think that anybody who competes these days would not know what ESDA is at this point. So very cool to see them partnering here at OGP, giving the newer guys a chance to spread their wings, get a little bit of nice support from them.
Absolutely. So these drivers competing for a lot here.
Oh, and it looks like we did end up actually getting that score in now for iReal there. Going to be a 49.2.
A slight improvement. Yeah, it's a 2.2
improvement nonetheless there.
A 2.2 improvement. Can't be too mad at that. And so far, Titus leading the charge at an 81.3. Jonathan Casillas is sitting pretty comfortably in second right now with a 72.5 to round out our top three Cobalt Mongoose with a 71.2. So far looks like the 80s is where you want to be.
Absolutely, yeah. Looking like right now, with just how the judges are scoring, the 80s are seeming to be the area that you want to be in. It definitely seems that the judges are being very, very harsh on these drivers. They want perfection, and if you don't give them it, you're gonna know it.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna pay a penalty. So these drivers absolutely having to bring out their all. So it looks like we're gonna get things moving along here.
I believe first we should have Diaz coming to the line.
Yep, just getting a few roster things figured out here within the group, just making sure everybody is here.
Looks like Diaz is now pulling up to the line here and getting ready to go.
Still just waiting on the light.
Yeah, just waiting on that light to go. Yep,
Oh,
here it
there we
goes.
go. Oh. All right, there we go. And away we go, Diaz. First run of the Group 2 here. Good initiation. Getting a little clip on that pylon there. Getting absolutely all the way out on that outside zone. Right onto the wall. Starting to pull out a little bit. Trying to massage it back into that zone. Slightly shallow into 4. Pretty good into 5. Not a bad run. I will say, I do
definitely
love
not a bad
seeing
run at
these
all.
guys just throw it absolutely 50 degrees, like 90 degrees sideways in that wall.
Absolutely, yeah. Setting the car up for the right angle, diving into the wall there. Absolutely love to see that.
And a 72.1 will put Diaz third. 0.4 points below Jonathan sitting second. So not a bad run.
No, definitely not a bad run at all. Very, very good score to put on the board with how things are going right now. As we
Absolutely.
go on to the next driver, should be, looks like we're going to have Blake March driving that S13.5.
Yeah, definitely a lot of drivers using that.
Yeah,
as
absolutely. A
well.
very, very popular choice. And so far, with the drivers who have been whipping it, we've definitely seen why. It looks like it's a very good platform here.
Yeah.
As we have Blake at the line here, just waiting on those lights to get extinguished. Well, not extinguished, I guess, actually. We're waiting on the lights to go. They are extinguished as of right this second. And here we go. There we go. The white light is hit. Blake's going to be taking off in that 13.5, going towards initiation. Could have been a little bit deeper on that first outside zone, and way inside on that inner clip. Took out the cone and some of the grass, but does fix it for the next one. Swinging out to that outside zone, putting the car right where it needs to be. Could have had a little more angle, but into the wall. Looks like holding a little bit of angle at the wrong time, throwing a little further inside, but does back it out a little bit through there. Up through the next outside zone. Pretty good, not quite to the white line, but where it should be. And about the same across that last zone, over the finish line. Overall, pretty decent run. Couple things that can be cleaned up there, especially around the transition to the wall, but not bad.
Not bad. It's a score, you know?
Absolutely. And a score is what you need right now.
Yep. Most definitely. So far, we have yet to see a double DNF. Hopefully, we don't see one of
Have to
those.
see one of those today here.
Yeah.
Waiting on the scores to get dropped in here for Blake March. Still waiting on those scores to drop in. Blake March, driver for Underground Spirit, the team he is registered under. Not one that I'm familiar with personally, but I will say that I do like the name.
It is a good name.
Still sorting out some technical difficulties on the backside of things. So, but it looks like we're now sending another driver. Okay.
Alrighty.
That's going to be Jordan Saunders here.
A little shallow on initiation. Leads them into hitting that inside cone there. But good through outside zone 2. A little shallow on the wall, but starting to massage it back and back. Smooth transition into outside zone 4. Having to get a little bit of left foot brake there on outside zone 5 to keep it in there. But overall, not a bad run.
Yeah, definitely not a bad run. Still waiting to hear on that score for the previous run here. Not entirely sure what's going on.
Looks like we have our 70-point run for Jordan Saunders there as we get into our next run. Ryan drifting in that 350Z. Real shallow into outside zone wall. Just gonna have to shut it down.
Looks like, yeah, shutting it down there, huh?
That was interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there. And just bear with us, everybody. We are having a little bit of first round jitters here, trying to get everything worked out. Slowly but surely, we're trying to get everything sorted. Just running into, first time comp. Every now and then it happens. So just bear with us a little bit. We're trying to get this all sorted out for you guys, trying to put on the best show that we can. But technical difficulties will be technical difficulties no matter where you go.
Yeah. That's exactly what they are. They're technical. And
Absolutely. And technical difficulties will always be the hardest ones to fight.
yep.
Just waiting on, I believe we're looking for Vitor. Or did Vitor not make it today here? Maybe Vitor didn't make it today. And if that's the case, if Vitor is not here, we'd be looking at Drake next.
Yeah. Drake, really good driver. Won our first pop-up comp.
Yeah, and Drake definitely somebody who is not shy to the competition world. I believe that's who we're going to be having come up to the line here. Just waiting for some verification on that. Yep, and it looks like Drake will be coming to the line. So we'll go ahead and get that out of the way. We are fighting a little bit of technical difficulties, as we've mentioned here. So just the way that we're trying to work everything out here is fighting us just a little bit, giving us a little bit of issues with timing. So we're working on getting that all sorted out here, guys.
Yep.
Do bear with us.
So far, let's take a look back at so far the scores we have. Tide is still leading so far with an 81.3. Jonathan Casillas sitting second with a 72.5. Diaz just putting down a 72.1 to put him into third. Cobalt Mongoose sitting in fourth with a 71.2, getting knocked down after Diaz's run. And Jordan Saunders with a 70.
Here we go. Looks like Drake going to be coming out of the chicane. Initiating into that first zone. Pretty much right in the middle there. Not too bad. Could have been deeper. Hits that in a clip very nicely. Transitioning through and pretty much perfect on the second clip. And he drives back into that car out to that outside zone. Coming up to the wall. Could have been a little bit deeper, but he is still both tires in the zone, keeping it kind of right in the middle there. So very, very safe on the wall. As he does peak the white run on the next outside zone, transitioning into the last one. And also right out there with a 360 to finish it off as he crosses the line. Showing off a little bit now, drifting that last corner. A very, very nice run from Mr. Drake.
That was a very good run. We'll have to wait and see what the judges feel.
Judge is going to go ahead and work on getting some scores slotted in here. And yep, looks like we are getting our scores on the board for this one. It's going to be An 80.2 on the board for Drake Berry,
Wow.
which will be slotting Drake into spot number 2 as of right now. So very, very nice job from him. Putting himself in a pretty good position there.
Really good run. If he
Absolutely.
can
If you guys
improve on, if he can improve on his
Go
second
ahead.
run, that would be a really good run. And that might, honestly, I could seal him pole.
Yeah, if he were to improve on that run a little bit and fix those errors that he made, that could put him very, very high up there on the pole position. But of course, we've still got a lot of drivers to go through today yet. Now, just bear with us, guys. There's a chance that we might have to cut to a little bit of a commercial break. We're just trying to figure everything out here. We want to give you guys the best possible that we can. So we're trying to get that all figured out. There's a lot of stuff fighting us on the back end right now.
It looks like we have Blake coming back up to the line for his first official run. Let's again, remember that's when he had his run, we were going through those technical issues. As all the lights come on, away we go. Huge angle. Man, somehow was able to keep it far enough out there not to hit that inner clip one, but not a lot of speed coming into this wall, having to baby it up to that wall. Clips it just a little bit. Able to get halfway into both of the final zones there. Come across the line with a somewhat pretty decent run.
Yeah, definitely a decent run there. That entry was quite wild. I think that might have been the most wild entry that we've seen all night so far, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Absolutely. The 69.3 on the board for Blake March.
Not a bad score with how things have been going tonight with other drivers here.
Absolutely not able enough to get him in 7th. Sitting right below Jordan Saunders.
Let's see, who do we got coming up to the line here next? I think it should be Diaz coming to the line right now.
Yep, he looks like he's getting his tires warmed up. Ready for the second run.
Sylvia with that wonderful Origin kit.
Diaz looking to improve on a 72.1.
Sitting on a pretty good score so far. I believe currently ranked 4th out of the qualifying standings. But definitely looking to improve, try to get a little bit further up the ladder here. As he pulls up to the line in that S13. Car that many people are familiar with here. As we wait for the lights to go, so we can send him on his way. looks like we're still figuring some stuff out on the back end here with the lights.
Seems just cleaning up a few things before we get these drivers sent for their second runs.
And here we go. It's going to be Diaz at the line now. Taking off. Around that bubble. A little bit of a tire over the bubble, which they did say they do not want to see that in the briefing, but going through the run here. Be nice on the first inside clip. That second hash mark in the middle of third there. Going through that outside zone. Very nicely done. Into the wall could have been a little bit higher there, but he does bring it back up for the rest of that zone. Onto the wall. Transitioning through. Very nicely done on that outside zone. Could have been slightly deeper, but still very good. And right where he needs to be on the last across the line.
Another good run. I will be interested to see how the judges are going to treat that touch there.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely want to see how that goes down. I believe that is the first time tonight that we saw somebody go over the line. So we'll see what the judges have to say about that here. As oh, where did we go here? Yeah, it looks like we're having some issues on the back end right now, trying to figure out scores and everything. So again, we apologize for all of the technical issues that are going on. We're trying to resolve this as fast as we can. And let's see here. I believe we're still, yep, we're still being broadcast. So I just want to keep everybody informed on what's going on right now. We are using some newer software that in testing was phenomenal for us. It was really, really good throughout testing. However, right this second, it's giving us some issues on the back end, which is messing with, looks like some of the driver scores are getting messed up because of it. It's kind of doing this thing where it wants to constantly buffer and change drivers in the middle of a run. So we are trying to figure it out. Some things might have to get looked back on. We might have to adjust some things and change it up. So just bear with us here. We're trying to work through it for you guys. It is, again, first round of competition, first time doing qualifying with the series as well. So we are trying to go ahead and get this corrected for you all. Just please bear with us. And I am seeing here by the looks of it, it's going to be an 80.2 for that run there. So going to be an 80.2 on that run for Diaz, getting slotted in by the judges. However,
That
again,
will
we are
tie
still
him for
having some
Drake.
issues there.
That will
yes,
tie him
actually,
for
that will tie
second.
with
Yeah,
Drake.
almost.
That is
Yeah,
correct.
to the T. Wow.
Right on the money with that one. Now, I do believe that we are going to go to a quick break, guys, because we want to get these issues addressed as soon as we possibly can. So just waiting on verification here from the camera crew that's running the stream to see if we are going to do that. But we're going to try to go to a quick little break, get this all sorted out for everybody, and fix everything that's going on right now because we don't. A bit more convenient with that.
All right, looks like we're getting things back going again. Marchie taking his second run here. Big initiation, hugging that inside pylon. Not able to get quite there on inside clip 2. Nice and fluid to this wall. Nice. Wow. Trying to keep it in that zone. Falling pretty quickly out of that, but able to keep it into the last zone. That's not a bad run.
No, definitely a lot to improve on there. Very, very scary. The
wall
there.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that we were going to see our first hit before you even get to the wall.
Yeah.
So good to see him hold it through that for sure.
Blake March looking to improve on a 69.3. And he will with a 78.1.
Very nice little improvement there for Blake March.
I'll slot him into P4 in the standings.
Which is definitely a good place to be right this second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I believe is going to bring us to Jordan Sanders next. Jordan Sanders currently sitting on a 70. Go ahead, get him to the line.
Here we go. Got the
And
car
here it
fired
comes.
up.
Going up to the line in that beautiful RPS 13.5. Very, very nice car with a wonderful kit on it. And the lights are going to be going here, and off we go. Around the chicane. Passing that bubble to initiate. Putting the car right on the rumble strip. However, going to exceed the inner clip ever so slightly and punch that cone out of the way. Cleans it up a little bit on the second inner, down to that outside zone. Keeps it right there, just grabs the rumble a little bit. Transition into the wall, putting it a little bit deeper there, but it's still keeping it in the zone. One tire for majority of that zone. Now transitioning to the second to last, about halfway through. And cleans it up a little bit on that last outside zone across the line to finish out that run.
Not bad. Real good improvement. Wall was a little
Yeah, that is the
shaky, but
question. I have to see what the judges say here. Will it be an improvement? Will it not? And yes, it will. So going to be improving from a 70 to a 73.9 on that run. Definitely an improvement. Still a little bit to clean up ahead of battles, if you make your way into battles here, after all of our drivers compete today. However,
yeah.
very good run to have on the board right now. That's going to slot you right at 5th there, Jordan. So very nicely done.
Yeah. As we have Ryan pull up to the line. Ryan Carroll DNF'd his first run. I'm looking to see what he can do here.
Just have to get him pulled up further to the line there.
Yep. So bring him forward.
No, we're going to set him from back here. Okay.
Yeah. Preference, yes. Absolutely destroying the pylon. Not quite able to get out to that second outside zone. Barely getting a tire into that wall ride there, but able to bring it around to outside zone 4. Got a couple tires in there, able to get out there for the final zone. But
Looks
overall,
like
that'll get them a score.
A completed run there.
Yeah.
So it's better than a DNF. If they don't mark that as a unchaseable, which honestly I feel like there is a very good likelihood of that being unchaseable. I'll have to see what the judges want to say about that one there.
And a 50.5 will be the score for Ryan Carroll, slotting him 8th. We'll have our next driver pull up to the line, which will most likely be Drake from Team Lock to Lock.
Yeah, I believe we should be having Drake come up here next. Because I don't believe that Vitor showed up today. Yep, and here comes Drake. Another RPS 13.5.
Yep, as you can definitely tell. Very popular, as we've said before.
And here we go. Lights are on, and away we go. This time in a black S13.5. Going ahead and initiating through our first outside zone, putting the car right in the rumble. Very nicely done as well on that inner clip, too, right where it needs to be. Same on the second inner clip, after that outside zone. Could have been a little bit deeper there. Transitioning through to the wall and putting the car pretty much right where it needs to be. Putting that bumper actually a little bit into the wall, but now slowing down a little bit here. As we transition to the next zone, right out to that white line. So that last transition in the last zone, very nicely done there by Drake.
Man,
With a very good run.
that was a real good run. Dragging that bumper on the wall too. You love it.
Yeah, very nice to see that bumper on the wall for a good portion of that. Very deep in that zone. As we go ahead and wait on the judges to give a score, and it looks like Drake going to be improving a little bit there with an 82.4 on that run. So about a 2.2 score improvement there from the previous 80.2. That's going to go ahead and slot Drake in. Looks like actually at spot number 1 right now.
We have a new king of the table.
But I feel like that's... Is that correct? No, that I don't think... Oh, yeah, no, that would be correct. Yeah, 82.4 is our high score currently.
Yeah, Titus with an 81.3, knocking him down. As that will finish off our group here as we bring in our next group of drivers. See if they have anything for Drake's 82.4. Any answers?
Yeah, I got to see. It looks like right now that 82.4 is going to be the score to beat. So very nicely done by Drake. Still a couple things to be cleaned up across all the runs that we've seen today. We haven't seen quite that perfect run yet, but surely somebody out there will be able to pull that off.
Absolutely.
64
very
signed up drivers, I believe we have, I want to say it was 49 are here today. I might be wrong on that number.
I'm not believe that's close to the amount of drivers
It's
that were able to
close.
get here
Yeah,
today. Yeah.
It's close. And I do just want to take a moment here to say, because I know that some of you guys are watching the stream here, and there are definitely some drivers who are a little bit upset about the scores they were getting earlier today. I did just verify with our team on the back end here that we are going to be looking back after we finish qualifying here, and we will be rescoring some runs. There, like we said before, there was a lot of technical issues going on. Scores were coming in as incorrect. A lot of issues going on with the software we're using. So we will be looking at rescoring some runs with the judges after this is all said and done and correcting that issue for you. Now, again, once they do go back and rescore the runs, whatever they do rescore them as will be what stands. So just let it be known that no matter where the points in terms of who qualifies where here are at the end of this event, they are subject to change depending on what is rescored from the first portion of qualifying. So there will be Group 1. You guys will likely be getting a full look over on your runs. And then I'm sure that there are some from Group 2. However, we do have the issues resolved now. So the scores that you guys are going to be seeing from here on out should hopefully be fixed, unless we end up running into a further issue. But we are going to go ahead and get that next group loaded in.
Looks like drivers are starting to get in here. One by one making their way in.
Looks like some of these guys are getting practice runs. You guys are supposed to be parking up, you guys. we're just getting everything sorted out here with the next group of drivers. Should be Travis Dawson from Team Kinetic Esports on the way to the line here, and it looks like he is currently pulling up. Oh, for some reason running through already, though. We're going to have to get him back to the back of the box. All right, looks like now we're going to be getting Travis Dawson up to the line here. Ready to go for that first run of this group. We'll pass the mic on over to your good friend Vroom here.
Yes, sir. Travis Dawson driving that S13. Seen it a few times so far from a couple drivers.
Judges are just sorting something out really quick, and then we should be on the way here. I'm sure you guys are getting used to hearing that by now, but we're getting there. So slowly but surely, slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely. The lights are on and away we go for Travis's first run. Little shallow into that first zone and absolutely punting that cone. Getting a little bit tighter into the outside zone 2, little shallow there. Massaging it back up to that wall. Filling out outside zone 4 pretty well. Across the line. Not a bad run. Not a bad run at all.
Nicely done there for Travis on that first run of qualifying.
A little shaky
Another
at the
driver from my
start,
team there.
but was able to get it corralled there at the end.
A couple of mistakes that he's going to have to correct before he goes into that second run for sure. But to go out there and put down a scoreable run right out of the gate, that's always a safe thing to do. You just got to make sure that you send it just a little bit harder for the next run. Try to correct all those errors.
And it will be a 74.9 for Travis Dawson.
Not a bad score to be sitting on right out of the start here.
Absolutely not. That will place him 5th.
Of course, again, just to remind everybody watching, we're going to have to take these qualifying spots at a little bit of a grain of salt with them all, because we are going to have some rescores go on later due to all the issues that we were dealing with at the start here. However, right now, until that happens, we are going to see Travis Dawson in 5th.
Yep. The time being, that's where he will be.
Looks like next up we should be seeing Shelton Dorheim to the line. Shelton is here. I'm not sure if he is. Don't think that we're seeing Shelton.
So we might move on to Slammed.
Yeah, I believe it would be Slam the next.
Yep. Additionally, from Team Lock to Lock.
Yes, and Slammed coming off of a win actually right now over in the Shadow Realm series. A very nice showing from him.
There you go. That's gotta be a good high to ride.
Absolutely. Definitely a good feeling to come into another round of competition with.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go ahead, and it looks like we're going to wait for Slam to get up. Slammed, I believe, driving that JZX100 for this event.
Another beautiful car. Man, it just looks so good. Aggressive yet sleek. It's kind of that's my kind of bread and butter right there.
It's a very cool body kit on this car. And when I was painting these, the the one location for a sponsor on here, the Accelera sticker on this livery, is by far my favorite sponsor placement on any of the cars. So it's a neat little cutout that I was able to take advantage of there, and I am all for those unique little sponsor placements. It's a very nice little spot. Hashtag boat life on the back of this thing because it is nothing short of a boat. Oh, and now it looks like Shelton is here, but we're still having Slam to pull to the line. Not sure what's going on here. A little bit of confusion.
Yeah. Looks like he just joined in as soon as they got him pulled up to the line, so they're going to go ahead and set Slammed for his run. Good initiation. Getting real close onto that inside zone clip. Missing a bit of 2 there. Able to get out to outside zone 2. Nice and right up onto the wall. Making his way down this final 2 zones. Maximizing both of those pretty well. The little less impressive 360 since from the ones we've seen so far today.
Yeah, you're gonna have to work on that for that second run whenever you finish out that second one there.
Exactly. We're gonna have. I feel like that's our job now. We have to judge the 360s post run.
Yes, absolutely. We may not be in charge of the scores here, folks, but we are gonna absolutely make comments about the 360s you guys throw at the end of it here.
Absolutely. So make sure you come correct or don't come at all.
Absolutely, yeah, and we're gonna put that on a T-shirt after this.
So stay tuned for that. If we do, we'll definitely let you know. It'll definitely be on a T-shirt.
It looks like we're gonna be having Will, as I mistakenly called him the first time I ever said his name, Peasant. Will Posant, I believe is the actual pronunciation here, because I was just memeing on him that first time. But we got Will in the E36 pulling up to the line. And the lights are going to go here through that start chicane. Initiates, puts the car on the rumble strip, does stay there a little bit late, which is going to cause a little bit of an error in that line through the transition, but does get that second air clip. Puts that right tire into that outside zone, a little straight coming into the wall, and unfortunately going into the wall now. But maybe we'll see Will at least give us a 3. Oh, no, going into another wall here. So we are not going to get to see a 360 from Will.
Maybe he'll do it anyway. Or he won't.
Nope,
all right.
Will did just drive IRL yesterday over at Apple Valley, I believe it was, and he had a blast doing that. So probably not the craziest of, readiness going on since he was doing some real life driving. Which I highly suggest if you guys don't know who Will is, go check him out on his socials. Very cool guy. And we are still waiting for some of the scores. There are some issues with our judging side of things going on. Scores are trying to get posted. Obviously, for Will, that is going to be a DNF there. But we're going to get you guys slammed score as soon as we can there. In the meantime, though, moving on to our next driver, which is going to be Gambler.
Yeah. Driving another driver in that S13.5. As we wait upon the light.
And sorry, guys, we know that we are a little bit scarce in commentary between runs right now. We're still trying to get everything sorted and make sure we are all good on the back end here. Which, in between runs, we are taking some time to do that. Make sure we're all on the same page, try to get you guys the best information we can. Now, obviously, myself and Vroom here, we are just commentators, but we are ready for the next run.
Yeah. So we get him on the way here. Gambler getting set for his first run. Big initiation. Coming in real hot to that inside zone 1. Had to slow up a little bit, but able to keep her going. Keep her pinned down the power alley. Sliding it into the wall. Able to get a tire. Get a little bit more of his car into the back end there. A little shallow in outside zone 4, but able to get all the way out there on the final zone.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, I am standing a little bit far away from the mic right this second, so I don't know how well you guys can hear me. Got to stand up and stretch for a little bit. Sitting in this chair is getting a little painful, but probably not as painful as it is to be wheeling these cars around this wonderful track here. So I'm sure these guys are having a blast while doing it.
Oh, absolutely. I know I would be. That was the greatest. I love doing competitions.
Absolutely, it's a very fun time for all. Looks like they're trying to get some scores slotted in here, but not fully sure. So our next driver gets ready to come up to the line here. We're gonna have Ed Venus coming to the
Slam
line
did
now.
score an 85.4, just to chime in.
Oh, there we go. So Slam scored an 85.4. That's gonna put him at spot number 1 right now, I believe.
Wow.
So that is a very good score. It's exactly what you want to see on the board for that.
As we're getting in our scores here for Gambler's Run.
Getting in our scores, and I'm getting back in my chair. Took some time to stretch there for a second.
Always good, always good.
Looks like we're getting
for you watching at home too. If you haven't gotten up and stretch in a bit, get up and stretch. And that's going to be an 80.2 for Gambler.
And we're going right into Venus.
Wow, yeah.
Very nice on the initiation, but it looks like maybe went over the line for the bubble, and it does get through that inner clip and does pretty well on that second inner clip. Up to that second outside zone, very nicely done. Going into the wall run now. Could be a little bit deeper, but he is keeping it in the zone very nicely. Close to the wall without hitting it. Transition through to the second to last. Putting the tire right on that white line where the judges want to see it. He does the same very, very close to a tire drop, but keeps it on track to that last outside zone across the line.
That was a real nice run there. That might be another chart topper. We'll have to see.
I can definitely see that being a pretty high score there. We'll have to see what the judges say, and it looks like that's going to come in at an 82.5. So an 82.5 on the board there. That's going to put Ed Venus up to second position as of right this second.
Wow. Another really good run. 1 point better than Drake. Just doing that 0.1 more.
Looks like now we've got Dustin from Concept up here.
And that E36 looking to put down a score here on his first run. As the lights turn on and away we go. Good initiation. Right tight onto that first inner clip. Knocking over that second one. Nice and deep into outside zone 3. Big angle into the wall. Not able to keep it there. But smooth into outside zone 4. And ever so slightly out of that final zone, but able to come across the line, which looks like a pretty good score.
Yeah, making it work the best that he could there, for sure. Couple side errors going on there. Obviously, the wall could have been a little bit higher, kept it up there, but not the first time we've seen that today. Probably won't be the last time either.
Absolutely not.
The judges looks like spotting their score.
And an 89.6 for Dustin.
A little bit of a surprising score, to say the least, I think, from the judges. I don't think anybody was expecting that, but at the end of the day, the judges will score what the judges will score, and if there are any issues with it, we will have to come back to that.
Yeah.
And we're going to move on for the time being to EOD Jason. We'll revisit that previous run afterwards. Oh, and Jason way over that inside line for the bubble. Judges are not going to be happy about that for sure. However, the rest of the run here is cleaning up pretty nicely so far. On the rumble strip for that zone and then into the wall. Putting that chaser right out to the wall.
Man, filling out those last two zones to perfection. He got all the way out there. We'll have to see what that does for his score. So we're starting to get some of those scores in here.
I'll be right back.
Still waiting on that score from EOD's Jason's run. And while we have this time here, I would like to give a quick shout out to all of our partners. To Volson, ESDA, the X3 Auto Sports, everybody that's helped out on this pack. Big thanks to everybody for allowing us to come out, put on a show for you guys. As EOD Jason will qualify with an 80.5. That will sit him in P6 as we have Travis Dawson make his way back up to the line, getting ready for his second run. Big initiation. Holden, big angle, absolutely destroying that inside zone. But able to clean up that other one. Almost straight in there. And barely gets out to that wall. But filling out outside zone 4 pretty nicely. Big angle going into 5 is going to pull him out of that early. Very unfortunate. Travis Dawson is definitely going to hinder his score a bit. But we will see what the judges think. We got scores coming in now. And a 63.6 won't improve, but will still be sitting 10th. We'll see our next driver make his way here, Sheldon Dorheim. This will be his second run. Unfortunately, he was not able to make it into the server in time to complete his first run. So this is going to be a really important run here. So we see the lights extinguish and we're on the way. Oh, missing all of that zone, coming in with a lot of speed into zone 2. Has to scrub a lot of that off. A little janky coming into outside zone 2. Outside zone 3, almost over rotates, is able to hold on to it. But able to get out to that white line in outside zone 4 and big angle across the line. Man. A lot of angle from Shelton. Unfortunately, not the best. A big angle. Not the smoothest run. But we will see how the judges see it, and it will be a 46.6. Shelton sitting 16th with that score. As we have Slammed come back up to the line for his second run. Right now sitting second with an 85.4, looking to improve. Maybe he can take the top spot back away from Dustin, but we'll have to see. At 89.6 is a big number to have to try and outscore here. Big initiation. Not all the way quite to that pylon. Same for inside clip 2, but able to get out there for outside zone 2. Coming in, putting it, slotting it nicely onto that wall. Filling that zone. And just line to line. In those outer 2 zones, coming across the line, a really horrible and honestly disappointing 360 from Slammed. Honestly, I've expected a lot better. But we'll see what the judges think on that run.
All right, I had to jump out for a second there, but I am back.
Awesome. So we're starting to get those scores in here. An 86.4 will improve by 1 point. Just growing his lead ever slightly. As Will Poussant makes his way to the line. DNFing in his first run, looking to put a score on the board.
Just trying to get caught up here again. We are on Jason.
Will.
Back to Will.
Will.
Here we go.
Yep.
All right, and Will going towards that initiation. Ooh, very straight and outside of the zone off of the start, and then that is going to be, looks like 3 tires off potential. Oh, and a spin out.
Oh, there's 4.
Mowing the grass, so we're going to get some fresh grass cutting going on here, and shuts it down.
Yep, unfortunately, that will be our first double DNF. It's bound to happen at some point.
And unfortunately, Will did come into this saying that he wasn't feeling the greatest about running it. And, you know, sometimes it happens. We all have our weekends every now and then where things don't go as planned.
No, absolutely. Everybody's got that trek that's just that thorn in their side for them. And unfortunately, that just happened to be today for Will. We'll see Gambler come up to the line next. Sitting on an 80.2. And as we start to see these points start to pick up, a lot of these drivers starting to feel a little bit more nervous. Having to put it all out there. And really put down some pretty fantastic runs so far. As the lights flash, and away we go. Big flick into the first inside zone. Can't quite get there. A little shallow there as well. Able to get out to that zone. Shallow coming into the wall, but able to bring it back. Nice and wide into 4. The same in that last outside zone, and a good 360. Can he hold on to it? No, he won't. I feel like that was also just him shutting it down.
Yeah, potentially. You know what?
Potentially.
Still, a little bit of respect for throwing the 360 either way.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Good to see him going for it as we switch back over to Venus again.
So we start to see some of the scores come in here. For Gambler's second run. And a 79 flat. Won't be able to improve on his first run, but still kind of keeping it consistent. So we have Advenus up to the line, sitting on a 82.5.
Yeah, and one of the big things that there is when it comes to events like this, consistency is key, whether it's consistency at the highest or the lowest level. If you can be consistent, you're doing something right.
Yep.
So we'll see what Advenus does here. Goes for that initiation into that first outside zone, about halfway through, and then he does go for that inner clip. Looks like maybe just grabbing that cone. Through the second inner clip. Could have been a little bit further in, but now through that outside zone, putting tire on the rumble. As it transitions into the wall, very close onto the wall there. Could be a little bit deeper, but still making that car very, very well known to the zone. As he paints the white line there for the second last. And across the line after that last outside zone. Very nice run overall. Cleaned it up a little bit, I believe, from that first run. However, still, of course, not the perfect run that they're looking for.
No, we will have to continue and wait to see.
Is for sure as we wait to see what the judges scored here. It looks like that run is coming in at an 85, so he will improve off of an 82.5 on the first run to an 85 on the second. Very good run. It's exactly the kind of score you want to see.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, will not improve his position. He'll still be sitting third, but now he's got more of a buffer. Now we have Dustin up to the line, our pole sitter right now with an 89.6. Looking to see if he can somehow improve on that run and extend his lead a little more. The lights are on and away we go. Nice smooth initiation. A little bit far from that first inner clip. Same for the second. Getting out to that rumble strip in outside zone 2. Big 90-degree flick in. Falls a little bit out of the zone, but able to stay in it. A little shallow into outside zone 4, but out to the line. Cross the line.
And ever so slight tire drop right there at the line. However, still a pretty decent run. The angle that we've been seeing from him into that wall is pretty crazy. But the one thing that is consistent when you throw that kind of angle is that it does bring you down the track quite a bit. So that's something to watch out for all the other drivers who are coming up here.
And a 76.3. Definitely not an improvement.
No, definitely not the kind of run that you want to see after the run that you put earlier. And the 76.30 like times 10.1 going on what we can see on our screens. So very interesting score. But we're going to go ahead and move on. I believe next up we should have Jason going for another run on that big body JZX. Lights light up and here we go. Whipping the boat here, crossing that line again for the bubble. So we'll see what the judges have to say about that, but does get that inner clip. Gets the second inner clip pretty low. Brings it out to the rumble zone on that outside. Into the wall, very close, but does actually tap the wall this time around, so that's going to be a little bit of a deduction there, but keeps it in the zone the entire way through. That second to last also keeping it very good, and right on the white line through the last zone across the line.
Yeah, but it looks like they are going to zero him for that bubble touch.
Yeah, that is what it looks like. Believe they were a little bit lenient before. However, this time that was pretty clear. Almost a whole half of the car was over that line. So definitely not what the judges want to see. That was one of the things that was very well hit on during the briefing today. That is unfortunately going to be an incomplete for Jason.
But he will still be sitting 6th with the 80.5 he put down in his first run. Not bad.
That is
That's
correct.
enough. That is good enough. Hopefully, we'll see, to make it in.
Let's see what some of these other guys end up putting down here.
Yep.
I believe that should end off this group here.
Yep. We should start to see our next group make their way in here. And get qualifying and continue qualifying. See if anyone can knock down Dustin from the throne. An 89.6. So far, we've seen 17 people take their runs. Or 18 if you count Will. An unfortunate double DNF. Still a few more drivers to go. A few more groups. Where we're looking to close in on
drivers to go yet.
Yep. But we are closing in on halfway here soon.
Let's see here. Some of the drivers that we've got coming up in this group. One of the names that quite a few people know, Anthony Taylor. Driver for Big Duck Club. Not sure if currently driving for Big Duck Club. I believe that he is registered under Lock to Lock, potentially. Oh, no, he is. He is registered under Big Duck Club. So Anthony Taylor driving for Big Duck Club today. Very well-known name in the scene. We do also have, looks like, Ghosts of STB. We've got TDR Keith. That's a name that I've personally ran into quite a few times over the years from Team Drift Royals. We've got a guy whose name is Chris, who I really couldn't tell you much about because all I know is his name is Chris. He's driving an SN95, one of my favorite cars in this pack. And it looks like we've also got another gentleman by the name of Devin from Fortune Hunters in here, whipping an E36. And C. Cervantes whipping an E92. So quite a variety of cars on this group, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, we've only seen that E92 once. I'd like to see how good that car can do here.
Absolutely. First driver that we should have up in this group is going to be Ghost. So we'll go ahead and get Ghost up to the line if he is present, which I don't know if we're seeing that right now. Should be driving in an S13, or an S14.
Yeah.
So far, not seeing them come to the line.
It seems that I think we're waiting on them to make their way in there.
It looks like the judges are making the call that they're just going to move on since he's not pulling up to the line. So he's going to be getting a DNF for that first run since he didn't decide to pull up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately there. So the judge's call is that will be a DNF since he did not pull to the line. Maybe fighting with some kind of technical difficulties on his end there. And we're going to switch on over to the next driver of this group, which is going to be Anthony Taylor driving for Big Duck Club.
Yep. Certainly a very talented driver. We've seen him absolutely throw down at Oman on a last pop-up. But we'll see what he can do here today. Big initiation. Not able to get quite down all the way tight to that inside clip. Able to do so on the second go-around. Coming into the wall. Placing it right on there. Filling that zone really well. Out to the line on 4. The same good depth in those zones.
Yeah, absolutely. And got to give Anthony Taylor some credit where credit is due. That might be the smoothest run we've seen along that wall in terms of any kind of bobbles on angle. That was a very nicely done portion of the run there. Still a couple of things that can be corrected, of course, but a very beautiful run nonetheless.
Yeah. I'll be good for a first run. And it will with an 86.7. That will have him take over the second position spot. Over Slammed.
Absolutely. Looks like we're going to switch over now to, I believe this is Chris coming to the line here. No, maybe not Chris. I believe Chris is supposed to be in an SN95, but I'm looking at an S14, so I don't exactly know who I'm looking at right now. But this S14 is going to go through. Initiates through that first outside zone. Very nice. A lot of angle into that inner clip. A very beautiful amount of angle. Now transitioning through and still holding some crazy angle in this car. Albeit it seems that the angle is causing a little bit of a lack of speed. But now, going to go into that wall and does tap it a little bit, keeping it in drift. Transitioning through now to the second to last outside zone. Could have been a little bit deeper, but still present in the zone. And on the white line through that last zone across the finish.
Yeah. Really good run. I am confirming that is Chris.
That is Chris. Okay, perfect.
That is Chris.
Alrighty, so Chris is in an S14, not an SN95. That was an error that we had on the back end there. So very nice job from Chris, now that we can verify that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, yeah, and they did all verify. So yep, that would be Chris there.
Mm-hmm.
And just waiting on some scores to slot in. Looks like Chris with a 62 there, so probably got a lot of heavy deduction going on due to the speed. The angle was very nice, however it did cause a little bit of issues with some speed and a little bit of line issue there. So not going to be the highest score that we see today. However, still a pretty safe score to have on the board right this second.
Absolutely. As we're going to see Taz make his way to the line. And that
Taz, I believe,
BMW.
also known by Devin.
Devin driving for Fortune Hunters.
Oh,
That
hopefully Devin
BMW
will find his
E36.
fortune here today.
Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha.
Dad jokes on the commentary already. Haven't even made it to the battles around 1 yet, and we're already resorting to some Jared Deanda level of humor. But here we go.
Lights are on, and here we go. First run here for Devin. Nice big angle. Able to get right up to that cone. Doing the same in inner clip too. Filling the zone real nicely. Making his way to the wall. Not a whole lot of angle, but starts to pour it on. All the way out to that white line in 4. And coming across the line. Oh, 360. Holds on to it.
Does hold on to it.
There you go.
So obviously, that's not going to get you any bonus points with the judges, but the commentary will say something about it. So good job.
We'll let you know how we feel about it.
Absolutely.
So we got the scores starting to come in here now. And a 72.1 for Devin, slotting him 14th.
Moving on now, we're going to have Keith, driver that I am very familiar with. I have personally seen battle against this individual. Keith has actually been prominent across quite a few games in his time driving, and now here we find him at Oversteer Grand Prix. So he's going to go ahead and, well, the lights went. Not sure if he's seeing the lights. We'll try it one more time here. Yep, and there we go. This time he does see them. And away he goes in that JZX 100. Big boat life again. Initiates in. Pretty nice for that first outside zone. Could have been in there a little bit faster, but nice to the inner clip as well. Second inner clip, putting the car right where it needs to be. Also could have been a little deeper. Same on that outside zone. Transitioning towards the wall. Not putting it all the way in there. Looks like probably a little bit of a safe transition for what Keith is able to put down. However, does make it stick all the way through. Nice going to the second last outside zone, then putting the car right out to the track edge through that last zone across the line. Very
Definitely
nice
a
run
very
overall from Keith. A little bit safe from what I've seen from him, however.
I'd say that's a very good safe run.
Yeah, definitely a little bit safer than what I'm used to seeing Keith put down. But we'll have to see what the judges say. It was still a pretty good run overall. Not too bad there. And it looks like the scores are going to drop in at an 83.7 for Keith.
A really good safe run. I'll put him.
He'll be able to clean up some of those mistakes going into the next run here. We'll switch on to the next driver.
Yep. Next driver up to the line, Cervantes, here in the E92. A little shaky initiation, but putting it where it needs to be. Beautiful on those two inner clips there. Not quite getting all the way out there on the zone following. A little shaky entering, but he's able to get it into the zone. But coming out to outside zone 4, starting to peel away. It gets out all the way to that end zone. Overall, not a bad run.
No, definitely not a bad run at all there. I believe that's actually one of the better runs that we've seen out of the U92 drivers today.
Certainly so. As those scores start to make their way in, we'll have Ghost pull up to the line. 81.3 for Cervantes. It's going to slot him 8th.
Not a bad score to be putting on the board for your first run. Of course, a lot of mistakes to try to capitalize for the second run, but we're going to go on now to Ghosts, who was DQ'd for the first run, however, has made it for a second. As he initiates, grabs that first zone pretty nicely, putting the car right to the inside of that inner clip without taking out the cone, and does the same thing here. However, he does put that front tire on the rumble. Judges aren't going to want to see that. Very nice to that outside zone, and ooh, unfortunately, his stutter there in the transition to the wall, and then he ends up in the wall, so not what you want to see. But looks like he is still going to finish putting on a show for us, at least here, and drift his way across that line. So unfortunately, looks like that is going to be a double incomplete here for Ghost today. Did not make it to the line for the first first qualifying run, and unfortunately, with that stutter and transition, ends up in the wall.
Yep, unfortunate. Not the way you want to go out by any means.
Nope, not by any means whatsoever. But we are now going to see Anthony Taylor back to the line. Always an exciting driver to watch.
Absolutely. Trying to work off of that 86.7. Trying to see if he can improve there. And maybe challenge Dustin for the top spot. And as the lights turn on, away we go. Nice, another smooth initiation. Able to get to that pylon. Nice angle. Able to get as close as he can to that inner clip cone. Coming into the wall. Really comfortable. Just putting it right onto that wall. Getting out to the white line in zone 4. And man, that was a good run.
Yeah, I tell you what, if I was sitting in the style judge's seat right now, I would be very happy with how smooth that run was. Obviously, you know, it could have been a little bit more angle in some parts there. I definitely think there was a little room for improvement, but a very, very beautiful run in terms of how smooth that was. You don't see people driving this course as smooth as he did there. So that's very, very exciting. We'll see what the judges say.
A 98.1 for Anthony Taylor. Topping the scoreboards with a near perfect run.
Very high up there. Like we said, there were very, very minimal things that could have been changed there, but the judges are absolutely impressed, just like we thought they would be. What a huge, huge score to put down there.
Now we see Chris starting his run here. making his way out to that wall, getting a little tap, little bumper tap. Like to see that. Not quite getting all the way out to that white line, but still filling out those zones really well.
And another there from a commentary perspective. We were still talking about the the previous run. I didn't realize that we were getting ready to send him already there, but a very good run that we just got to witness there.
Yep.
I definitely think that compared to that first run, that should absolutely be an improvement for Chris. And looks like judges are slotting in their score, and it is an improvement. That's going to be a 78.9 on the board.
I'll bump him up to 12th.
Absolutely, and I'll pass this one back over to Vroom so we can get back in our order of commentary here.
Yeah.
Got a little bit caught off guard, but we're back.
Well, now we have Devin trying to improve on his second run, 72.1. Nice big initiation there. Getting that, tagging that clip there, getting all the way out in outside zone 2. So what he has here at the wall, slotting it right on there, bumping, and just gets into the wall. That's gonna incomplete that. Man, that had...
Unfortunately not how you want to see that happen. Very similar to what we saw happen with Will earlier. When he tagged, but he does do a 360, but he doesn't hold all the way onto it. Unfortunately.
Dang.
Well, you know what? You get a little bit of points from us in the commentary booth for trying at least. However, we're going to switch things over now. We're going to be over with Keith back on the line in that beautiful, beautiful JZX. We'll see what he can do. Currently, Keith sitting on an 83.7, looking to improve that score. See what he's got for us as he initiates in. Very nice on the outside zone, and tons of angle going towards that inside clip. Does show up on the speed a little bit to hold that angle, but still making it work here as he gets that to the rumble strip. Transitioning through to the wall, almost 90 degrees of angle, if not out of going into the wall. And unfortunately, that's going to cause that car to seep down into the bank a little bit. Does correct it though on the line to get it back out to these last two outside zones and across the line with what is a very beautiful run. Just couldn't get it all the way out there on that wall ride.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd see that's what's really separating these high 80-point runs to these 70-point runs that we're seeing a lot of. Is just how good can you be on that wall?
And it looks like that score is going to drop in at an 81.2, so not quite exceeding what he did on his first run. He's going to stick with that 83.7.
We're going to see Cervantes here now, all ready for his second run in the E92, looking to improve on an 81.3. Big angle. Hitting that first inner clip really tight on that second. Not quite fully filling that zone. Getting out here to the wall, starting to massage it back. Keeping two tires in. All the way out. Not quite all the way out in that fourth zone. But able to fill both final zones there for a pretty good run.
Did go for the 360, but had to use the brakes a little bit, crab walking it.
Yeah.
Could have done better, but hey, you know what? Kudos for trying.
Exactly. So we start to see some of these scores come in now. It's going to be a 79.8. Not able to improve, but we'll still hold on to 7. And that will end it for Group 4.
Go ahead. We've got all the drivers out here. So we're going to go ahead and get that next group loaded in, Group 5. So we're currently halfway through. Now, just going to take this halfway point as a reminder for everybody watching and listening along. We are going to be seeing some of these runs get looked at again. There were a couple of things that went wrong with our technological side of things. So we are going to have some reviews to do after this. So bear that in mind as we see these scores come in, that some of them may change later. However, we're seeing some pretty good runs start to appear, some pretty good scores. Obviously, Anthony Taylor now sitting top of the board with a, let's be honest, insane score.
Yeah.
And looking back, I do just want to correct it because I see that there was an error in the score that Anthony Taylor put up. He is still absolutely with a high score at the top of the board. However, earlier I believe it came up as a 98.6. It's actually a 97.1. It's a 97.1. So there was a slight issue One of the scores ended up having an extra number on the end of it, but still sitting very, very high up there with that high score of the night so far.
Absolutely.
Put on an absolute masterclass of a qualifying run. Just a couple of things that could have been perfected on it.
Yep, and just those little things. As soon as you get up to those 90-point scores, I mean, you're closing in on perfection. And it's just those little tiny details really bust up a perfect run.
Absolutely, yes. And Anthony Taylor, I will always give credit to Anthony Taylor for how smooth of a driver he is. No matter if he's in these cars, whatever he's driving, he's always been a very, very smooth driver. I'm sure the guys over at Lock to Lock appreciate that a lot. I know that there are some guys over there at L2L that we are very familiar with. Tyler McGuire, for one, a teammate of Anthony Taylor. I honestly hope that we see those guys battle in OGP, because they are both really fun to watch go against anybody, let alone against themselves. And that would be a pretty cool team battle to see.
Yeah. There's one thing I love, and that's team battles.
Absolutely. We see them all the time. We love them all the time. I know that pretty much every single time that my guys have competed over an SRDL with the Kinetic Esports team, it's almost always a guarantee that when there's more than one of us in there, somebody's going against each other.
Yep.
Alright, it looks like we do have a driver to the line here, but I don't think it's the right driver. No, not. This is definitely not the right driver that we should be seeing. So, yep. That's just Lester going for a quick little run there.
Yep.
Waiting for Drips to get to the line here. So, Drips, if you could make your way to the line right now, or else they are going to DQ you.
Yep.
I just threw a message in there, try to get him to the line. He was sitting there revving his engine, so he was ready. I'm not exactly, not too sure what he was waiting on there.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're getting him up to the line now. Drips in that JZX 100.
Again, one of my favorite cars from this pack in terms of the livery aspect of things. This body kit flows so well.
Oh, absolutely. And here we go, kicking it off for Group 5. Big initiation, having to hold on to it. Man, that car is all over the place. Dropping a tire out in outside zone 3, straightens up.
Whoa.
Oh, big ankle.
Somehow missing the
Man.
ball. Impressive that was over the run there. But unfortunately, that is definitely going to be an incomplete because there was opposite drift there.
Yep.
So
That was, wow.
very interesting to say the least. Hopefully, though, went out there. Probably a little bit of nerves going on, I'm sure. You know, as is anytime you come into a competition situation, there's going to be nerves involved. So hopefully we'll shake that off for the next one.
We got Austin Sager pulling up to the line.
Austin Sager at the line of Drift Team Fabulous. Another JZX 100 here.
Wow.
Goes and initiates, catches that first outside zone very nicely, gets to that inner clip, now transitioning through underneath the big tire arch. Could have been a little deeper on the inside clip, but does keep the line going to get onto the rumble for that next outer and now into the wall. Making the same mistake that we saw in the previous group with the, I forget exactly who it was, but a little bit low on that bank. Does correct it though through that second last outside zone and puts the tire right on the edge of the track for the last zone across the line. Almost a repeat of what we saw from, I believe it was TDR Keefe on the previous group there, also in the JZX 100. So maybe something to watch out for if you're driving the JZX this weekend.
Yeah.
On that transition.
Most definitely. It seems like it's been an ongoing theme.
And just
The
trying to
JZX
verify
drivers.
that score here. Looks like they're still dropping it in. and it's going to be a 68.1 for Austin Sager on that first run.
And immediately sending the next driver, Wes, STB Wes, really shallow on angle for that first inner clip, but able to carry enough speed to go through the wall here. Almost gets into it. Has to really check out. Not quite all the way in that fourth zone, but is able to come across the line cleanly for what should be a decent score. Not without mistakes.
Definitely a lot to fix. One thing that I will say I noticed in that run, he did grab that rumble on the one inner clip, which ironically enough was one of the things that was specifically said to avoid doing during the driver briefing. So you got to be careful for that. Clean that up for the next run, but still not bad. The save on the wall was pretty nice.
Definitely. No, definitely just almost straight shotted that inner clip, but it's going to be a 60.8, setting him up in 20th for his first run.
Here we go. Going on to the next driver here. Looks like we're going to have Devontae Moya driving the E46, seeing the E46 now.
Ooh.
On that initiation. Using a little bit of left foot brake to not go off track for that inner clip. Transitions through, holding some pretty good angle as he comes into that outside zone. Does fulfill that. Bringing it into the wall. Looks like possibly transitioned a little bit early. He does tag the wall a little bit there, which is going to send him back down the track. But keeps it in drift, trying to correct that line, going through the next outside zone. And looks like he does manage to do that. Puts it all the way through that last outside zone across the line.
Not a bad run. Oh, man. I got to bring attention really quickly to how mean that 46 sounds.
Absolutely. Out of all the engine sounds that we're hearing tonight, there are quite the interesting noises being made there.
Yeah.
Looks like the judges are going to go ahead and slot in their scores on this here, waiting for that. While we do wait on that, I just wanted to correct really quick. They did adjust Wes's score. It's a 58.8 on the board right now. And we're just waiting on the score to drop in really quick before we send our next driver, Jason Jones. Oh, never mind. Apparently we are sending Jason Jones. Okay. All right. Inner clip. Transitions through, grabbing that rumble strip on the inside again, makes it to that outside zone, and straightens out.
Oh, no.
So, unfortunately, probably an incomplete there, but is going to go ahead and finish out the run anyway, even regarding that straightening. Missing some of the zonage there, and across the line he goes. I'm not sure if that is a score to run just yet. I don't know if the judges were prepared, as I was still watching scores get slotted in. Waiting to find out kind of what's going on here. We are going to have Lester to the line. We're going to wait to send him, though. We're just trying to figure the score out here for the last two drivers. Trying to verify everything. Bear with us here one moment, guys. I'm sure Lester is very excited to get this run underway. He was quite the jokester during the briefing today.
And it's going to be a 66.1 for Devontae Moya.
Now we are still waiting to hear, just to verify Jason Jones' score as well there, if it is a score to run.
Yep, looks like we're getting those numbers in as well.
Here.
Slowly starting to make its way in.
And they did deem Jason as an incomplete, so we're going to hand it over to you for Lester.
All right, nice big initiation from Lester. Right where he needs to be on inner clip 1. Tight on 2, deep on outer zone 2. See how he does on the wall, putting it right on there. Not faltering at all. Getting right out to that white line. And both of those final zones, and man, We could see a real big score here. Because that wall ride was...
Lester.
Oof.
Only thing really to note there that I did see, looked like he had to shallow up on angle a little bit going into the second outside zone there. Very minor things that I'll have to clean up for that next run.
Yep. As we start to get some of our scores here.
That is to the line, ready to go.
And then we'll be an 83.1 for Lester.
All right, so a very good score on the board there. Definitely some things to clean up before the next run. We're going to go ahead and get Rips on the way here. Once again on that JZX 100, very big car. Initiates in, almost misses a good portion of that zone and nearly misses the entirety of that inner clip. Does transition through and puts it back on line for the second inner. Also for that second outer. Oh, but they're fully straightening in the transition. So unfortunately that is going to be a DNF, and he is in the wrong.
Oof.
We'll see if maybe he'll redeem himself for the 360 here for the commentary side of things.
Maybe.
No.
No. Yeah, I would want to be done with that run too.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like that is going to be a double incomplete for Drifts today. So, either way, though, we have it every now and then. It happens. So, we'll see him back for the next round. Hopefully to improve.
Absolutely. Now we got Austin Sager up to the line, looking to improve on a 68.1. Now off we go. Nice smooth transition, big angle into one. Not quite able to get all the way there. But was still in the zone. Not to this wall there. Grabs a little bit of grass. Completely okay. Nice and smooth there. Not quite filling all of that zone, but is able to get out to the white line.
And not a 360 to end things out here, but he does drift partially into the corner.
Definitely threw it in there.
Have to say.
Yep. So we start to see some of these scores come in. Still waiting on a final number for Austin Sager. And it will be an 81-1.
All right, pretty good score on the board there.
Not bad. Not a bad run.
We're going to head back over now for Wes's second run, back in the RPS 13.5 here. Very interesting out of the chicane there, which is going to definitely affect that initiation. Judges are not going to be happy about that. But he does grab that inside clip pretty well, gets that second inside. Not as deep as we want to see them in that outside zone, but not coming to the wall. Very nice transition. Doesn't get quite all the way out there, but it does have the two tires in that zone for majority of it. Transition through again halfway through that second last outside zone, and the last zone, the same deal. So not the prettiest run, definitely seemed to play it a little bit safe just to try to get a score on the board. But we'll see what the judges have to say about that one.
Yeah. Maybe not exactly the mindset. It would have been helping there. Sitting on a 58.8. See if he's able to improve off of that. As the judges starting to
get their scores in.
Starting to get their scores, yeah.
Looks like it's going to be a 71.9. So definitely improving off of that first run here.
Absolutely, as we got Devontae Moya now getting ready for his run. Big flick to start things off. Cutting a little bit of grass on that first inner clip. Not exactly something we want to see. Coming out here to the wall. Little shallow. Able to slowly back it up. Not quite filling all of that zone, but is able to on the last. Not a too terribly run.
Not the prettiest, but also definitely not the worst that we've seen today for sure.
Absolutely not, as we'll see a 71.8.
I've got Jason Jones coming back up to the line here. Just want to see if maybe we can get him to pull up to the line a little bit here. He's a little far back from where we want to see them start at. And the judges are having a little bit of an issue again, really quick, just trying to figure out the software that we're trying to use right now as we wait for Jason Jones to hopefully pull a little bit closer to the line here. We don't want to give anybody an unfair advantage. Trying to get him to pull up to the line because he is about 3/4 of a car length, if not a full car length back from it right now, and we don't want to give anybody an extra run. Yep, here he comes, pulling up a little bit further.
A little bit.
Far enough, though. Not quite all the way there yet. Trying to get him all the way up here. There he comes. There we go. Perfect. Judges will be much happier to give a fair score for a fair start.
Absolutely. It looks like we got everything caught up, and here we go.
Yes, here we go. Gonna be coming out through that chicane, around that bubble, and oh, very off on the initiation. Misses that first outside zone completely, but does grab that inner clip, transitioning through and grabs the second one. Now, almost missing the entirety of that next outside zone as well, transitioning, unfortunately taking an inner clip instead of an outer zone here. I think that, yeah, okay, I think that we've seen every single zone get missed that run, which is definitely not what the judges want to see. I wouldn't even be surprised if they incomplete that.
But I will say, which is surprisingly more difficult to do.
Yes, no, definitely, definitely impressed by the fact that they managed to do that there, but absolutely not what the judges are going to want to see there.
Absolutely not.
Just waiting to verify. I'm not sure if he is going to get a score there.
Looks like we are getting some numbers, possibly. We'll see what the judges think.
What the judges have to say. Definitely an interesting run to see from the judges, but we are going to send the next one a while.
Good initiation by Lester. Able to get to those inner clips, filling that outside zone nicely. Nice and right onto the wall. A little bit of left foot brake, keep him snugged up there. Nice and out to the white line. Across the line.
Not too bad there. Not sure if that's going to be an improvement or not necessarily on that first run. Definitely fixed the angle issue going through the one outside zone.
Definitely. So we start to get some numbers coming through. And it will improve with an 85.6.
Very good. So the judge is definitely happier with that run.
I'll move him up into fourth. As we
Good
will
score
now
on the board.
bring in our next group. And Jason Jones was, did, I believe, DNF in that
Yes, I believe
run.
that is going to be an incomplete on that one as well. Which unfortunately would mean a double incomplete for Jason Jones today here. So we will not be seeing Jason Jones appear in battle. Gonna have to re-rack that attack and bring it next time.
Oh,
Jason Jones did score a 4.
Oh, Jason Jones
Oh.
scored a 4. Okay.
well, how about that? There you go.
I'm not sure what the hell is going on my screen right now. Is anybody else seeing what I'm seeing?
I'm seeing the same thing too.
Okay.
Oh. Whoa.
I am very confused right now. Staff, if we could just really quick take a couple moments to figure out what's going on here. Commentary is currently watching drivers on a non-existent track. I just watched an S15 drive through a house.
I did
So we're
also
gonna-
see that S15 do that.
Figure out what's going on here. There's an
Let's
S15.
see
They
if,
are James Deaning in the field right now.
Let me see.
What's weird
if,
is it's
have
fine
no
for
idea
me.
What I'm witnessing.
It's fine for the TV crew.
All right, let me see if it's my issue. Yeah, let me
I'm
see.
just
Let me see
for-
if I
for
can
the
fix
memes
it on my
the
side.
screen
TV
share
crew is
for
good.
folks here,
All right.
just so that you can see kind of what it is.
Oh yeah, just go ahead and reload in the server.
Perfect. Okay, we're gonna get that fixed here before we carry on with the commentary.
Yeah.
Definitely an interesting issue. I've never seen that happen before. Commentary just took shrooms, so
I guess yeah. I mean that's his...
Camera crew got nothing. I'm jealous.
yeah, no, sorry, we kind of hogged them all, it seems. But when in Rome, they say. I don't know who says that, but I just did. Let's see here. It's all reset here and squared away. I believe we're going to be seeing Jeremy to the line in the C6.
Yeah, Jeremy Baptiste driving for Zero Style.
Just got to get him to the line. He is not currently up to the line.
And the lights.
Oh, there
we're
we
gonna go
Now he's
ahead.
pulled up to the line.
There we go. And away we go. Jeremy Baptiste looking to put down. Good run here. Good initiation. A little shallow on that inner clip. But definitely hits that one. Just absolutely letting it bang off the limiter. Tucking it right up tight to the wall. Being nice and out to the white line. Both zones. Man, that was a pretty good one.
That was a pretty good one, yes. Absolutely. C6s seem to be doing pretty good at this track.
Yeah.
Very good run. We'll see what the judges have to say about it.
Absolutely, as we start to see some of those numbers make their way in. An 81.8 for Jeremy Baptiste, slotting him 8th.
Not a
Has been-
bad score to put down here. Oh, not sure
Oh.
if this
Yep,
gentleman
this
is
is.
supposed to go yet or not. Is this his scored run?
Yep, I believe so.
Okay, well, unfortunately, if it is his scored run, it is going to be coming in as
Maybe
a 0.
0.
Yeah, not what you want to see. I don't think that they were fully ready for that one. But, yeah, unfortunately, not the kind of run that you want to see there. And that is going to be a score of a 0, so that's going to be a DNF for not Neil. And just bear with us for a second here, folks. We're having some stuff go on in the back end. We might have to switch some things up here.
Yeah.
So we're just going to hold off on sending drivers for a minute here while we get this all figured out. Oh, and we are sending the drivers, so here we go. Gonna be Dalton out here in the E46. Very nice on initiation. A lot of clutch kick coming from this car. Sounds very aggressive as he comes through these inner clips. Swinging it out to that outside zone, not on the rumble, but putting it right next to the rumble, and a little bit of a hesitation on that transition, but still making it work nonetheless. Could have been deeper on the wall here, but keeping the car in the zone at the least. Looks like probably a safe run from Dalton. Just trying to get a score on the board ahead of time as he goes across the line. Here. Not sure if the scores are drop up. Wait, yeah, looks like the scores are dropping in, and it's going to be a 79 by the looks of it for Dalton Thomas on that run. 79. Next driver to the line will be Milos Gowan, I believe is how the last name is pronounced.
And away we go. Smooth initiation for Milo. Getting up tight to that inner clip. Not quite getting all the way there. Filling out outer zone. Oh, getting in contact with the wall. Is able to hold on to it. We'll have to see the judges deem that a straighten or not. But it's definitely a major correction. Well, definitely not helping him out.
No, definitely not going to be an assist with that. I believe judges are showing that they are not thrilled about that by the looks of things. Looks like for Milos that is a DNF, so we're going to move on to Taran. Driving the S15 here, initiates in. Very nice on that first outside zone, throwing quite a good bit of angle while using left foot brake to grab that inner. 2-second inside clip, very nicely done. Does have to show up an angle a little bit to hold that line through the second outside zone. Now into the wall, could be a little bit deeper, but possibly a transition timing issue there. Second last outside zone, very nicely done, fulfilling majority of that. And a little bit shallow on both angle and line to the last outside zone, but across the line it is going to be a score. Not the prettiest run we've seen, but a score on the board is a score on the board.
Absolutely. We got Devo up to the line. Or Galaxy. So we go ahead and get him underway. Getting into the grass on initiation there. First time we've seen that tonight. Real nice on those inner clips. Not quite filling all of that outside zone. Little shallow on the wall. A little shallow into 4 too. Almost straightened. Man. Looked good initially.
I just want to jump in here quick and let everybody know that Taran did get a 77 was the score for Taran. The update came in a little bit after the run started there, so everybody knows. As
we start to see numbers come in for Devo. his run.
Kind of run Diva wanted to put down for sure there. Score on the board is a score on the board, as I said prior, but...
And a 58.4 will be the score. As we see Jeremy Baptiste back up to the line.
Jeremy Baptiste piloting that beautiful C6 Corvette. As the lights are going, and we are underway for the second run here for Jeremy. Initiates that car in. Very nice on that initiation. Nice and deep, and then does get all the way through that inner clip. A little bit of rumble strip on that second inside clip, which the judges don't want to see, but he does manage to hold on to it. Gets it out to that second outside zone. Now into the wall run. Very nice on the wall. Keeping that car nice and deep, almost grabbing the wall and putting it there the entire way through. On the white line through that next outside zone. Now coming into the last outside zone. A little bit of left foot brake to get it out there. But does manage to keep it there, and a beautiful 360 into a drift afterwards.
Ooh,
to gain
man.
a little bit of extra points from the commentators here. Very nicely done by Jeremy Baptiste.
Yeah, Team Zero
See what the judges
style.
have to say about that.
Absolutely not. That man's got style for days.
Oh, but it does look like the judges aren't gonna reward it, so it's actually gonna come in as a lower score than the previous run. That's gonna get an 81.1.
That's wow.
Definitely seems a little bit low for what he put on there, but that is the score, and the scores are what they are.
Yep. We got Not Neil coming up for his second run. Nice and tight through inside one. But sliding it way, and straightens going into the wall.
Sounded like
Very
potentially a
unfortunate.
mischief there.
And that will be another double DNF for a JZX driver.
Oh, and I did get a correction here on Jeremy Baptiste that his score did actually improve. It is going to be an 82 there. The scores are just being a little bit funky right now on the software that we're running. Now it looks like we're going to get Dalton back to the line here at E46. Initiates in, very aggressive on the initiation flick. Grabs that inner clip very nicely, transitioning through the tire arch. Almost misses the second inside clip though, so maybe driving a little bit too aggressive as he does get all the way out to that outside zone. And then nice on the wall, however, does fall a little bit short after getting out there on that transition. Coming through to that outside zone about halfway through, transitioning through to the last. Fulfills that one a little bit better across the line. And he does go for the 360, but he doesn't quite make it all the way around.
Ah, man.
But he did try. So
He did
kudos for
try.
trying.
We'll see what the judges think on that run. As we will start to get Milo up to the line.
Judges are starting to slot in their scores by the looks of things. Waiting for one more score to slot in there on Dalton's run. Oh, and it looks like Dalton's score did come in. It's a 69.2 for Dalton on that second run, so not improving.
As Milo hits the track for his second run. Not so bad so far. Getting real tight on that inner clip. Filling that outside zone really nicely. Oh, big crash!
That hurt.
Oh, man. The first driver to catch the wall on an initiation. Man.
That is unfortunate. You could feel the pain in that bit.
Oh. That's a shifted. Oh, boy, man. What are the things in the spine called?
Yeah, that's a broken spine. That's not even shit. That's broken, man. That was aggressive.
Yeah.
Definitely a hard hit, which I believe is going to mean a double incomplete for him. And we're going to move on to Taran now. back in the S15, running the alternate livery scheme on this one. Initiates in, very nice on that outside zone, and brings it nice and tight on that inside clip, using a little bit of left foot brake to hold it there. Very good on the second, now into that next outside zone, puts it a little bit on the rumble to hold that line. Transitioning into the wall, very good on angle, putting the back end of that car right out where it needs to be, but does start to fall a little bit short of the wall afterwards. Now transitioning through, very good on that outside zone, final transition. Could have been a little bit deeper on that last zone as well, but across the line, definitely a good run.
Wow.
Overall. I have to see what the judges say, maybe possibly an improvement on the first run.
I would definitely think so. Coming in with a 77 on his first run.
77 on the first run. Scores are coming in for run number 2. And it is going to be an improvement with an 81.9. Currently slotting him in 9th position.
Now up next, Devo. Oh, big over angle there. Just holds on to it. And I was going to say looking to improve with the 58.4. So far, able to keep it going so far. Looking a little bit better. That initiation definitely doesn't help. And man, oh, I'm just missing that last zone in its entirety.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see what the judges have to say about that one.
Yep. Well, once we get the scores from the judges, that will conclude Group 6. So we should see our next group start to file in here.
And we are.
It will be a 63-6, so does improve, but does not move his way up the ladder much.
No, definitely not the prettiest of improvement that we've seen.
It looks to be about 10 drivers left to put in a run. Just making sure all of our drivers are able to see that light.
And I believe first up we are going to have Chillmate, also known as Elias, one of the kinetic drivers here tonight. Will be coming up to the line.
Yep. And as we start to get into these later stages, this is where it really starts to count. We're going to see a few drivers drop off here as this cutoff line starts to become a little more defined, a little more bold for these drivers. As we're going to see Chillmate make his way to the starting line.
Yes, and Chill here is coming off of a top 16 at a QDC today. Unfortunately, their event ran on so long that it took about 8.5 hours to get all the way through to his top 16 battle. So he ended up almost falling asleep. We're hoping that that his weight here tonight won't do the same thing to him. So. But he's been looking really good in practice with this S14. We'll see what he can put down here.
Absolutely. Well, the lights are on and away we go. Kicking off Group 7. Good initiation. Getting right onto that inner clip. And just dodging the rumbles there. Able to keep it real nice and tight. Right onto the wall. We got a little bit shallow there, but brought it back up to the wall. Right onto the white line in 4. Can he do the same on the final? Yes, he can. And a 360 to boot.
360.
Oh,
doing everything he can to make sure that he doesn't get kicked off of the team tonight. Doesn't want to end up like his teammate Legacy here. Very good run for the show.
Absolutely. As we start to get some of those numbers coming in.
While while they're putting in their scores there, we're going to have Lucas, which I believe this is actually his first time ever competing here, or anywhere for that matter, on Assetto Corsa.
Wow.
So very excited to see what he does. He's been talking about it, asking some questions, trying to get all sorted out for this event. Excited to see what he'll put down. We await the last score for Chill. Still just waiting for that score to drop in, but it looks like they're getting ready to go ahead and send Lucas here. So Lucas, driving the RPS 13.5, going to go ahead and initiate in. Very nicely done on that first part, but he is lacking a lot of speed, a little bit of over-angling going on, making it work though. It's all the way up to the outside zone after hitting the inner clips, bringing it into the wall. Very, very nicely done going into the wall there, close. Still falls off a little bit towards the end there, but making it work. He does drop a tire there on that outside zone. Transitioning for the last time, dropping one more tire and across the line. And he does go for the 360 and makes it work. Very nicely done from Lucas. His first time ever running in competition, and definitely putting on a show while doing it for his first time out.
Absolutely. And we did get a score from Chillmate. He will be placing 7th with an 83.5.
There we go, an 83.5 on the board for Chill. As we go on ahead here, get the next driver to the line, I believe that's going to be Boogies. Another E46.
Oh, wow. And it will be a 69.2 for Lucas on his debut. Not bad at all.
69.2, nice. Good score to get on your first run out there. Not too bad, but not too good. Got a lot to improve on.
We'll see Boogie's first run here. Good initiation, a little shallow on that inner clip. Getting out to that third hash mark on the second. Coming up to the wall here, backs it into the wall, dragon bumper all the way across. All the way out to that white line. Can he do the same? Yes, and a little tire drop over the line.
Definitely
real
one of the
good
scarier
run.
wall rides we've seen of the day today.
Yeah.
But still managed to hold on to it, so very nicely done for that aspect. As we have another driver that I am very familiar with, Matty Spies, at the line, waiting to send it in the 36.
Mm-hmm. A 73.4 for Boogies.
As we go to Matty Spies on initiation. Could have been a little bit deeper towards the start of that first outside zone, but does pick up that inner clip and does the same thing on the second one. Now gets the car all the way out to the rumble strip on outer zone 2, bringing it into the wall. A little bit of handbrake to make it happen by the looks of it. But getting the car placed really nice into there. A little bit safe off of the wall. Could have been deeper. Now into the second to last outside zone. Very nicely done there. Well, a little bit of an angle lack going into the last outside zone, but still across the line with a completed run. So definitely not going to be a high score there compared to what it could have been, but we will see what the judges swap that in at. Still a good run nonetheless.
Absolutely. Now it's in the judges' hands.
What the judges come across the board here with on that run.
As we have Dominic Moya up to the line.
Dominic, a driver for Diverse Tribe, a team that is becoming more known by the day.
Absolutely, as he's off.
That is a 78.5 for Matty Spies.
Big snappy initiation, real tight on that inner clip. Into 2 as well. Could be a little deeper into 3. Backs it onto the wall. Starts to gain a little bit more. Not as deep as he could have been in 4, but out to the line, across the line. And a 360 to boot. Oh, it has to get into the grass, but holds on to it. Holds on to it respectfully.
We'll consider it a complete one.
So yeah, we'll
a little
consider
bit
it.
of grass, but that's all right.
Little grass,
Call it a
little
John Deere
grass.
spin.
Exactly.
Overall, not a bad run there from Dominic. Putting on a pretty good show there.
So we get those scores coming in. Showmate back up to the line, getting ready for his second run.
Show putting on a very good first run. A couple things that he could correct there. I know that the judges scored a little bit lower on angle, so that could definitely be improved on. Very smooth run, just also looking to get a little bit more style out of it. We'll see if he can correct that on the second portion here.
Absolutely, as it'll be a 79.2 for Dominic Moya.
Very nice score for Dominic as Chill initiates in here. Very good on that first outside zone, putting the car right where it needs to be. Little bit of over angle, I feel like, on that first inside clip, but gets it all the way through there and holds the speed. Now nice for that outside zone. Coming up to the wall, putting the bumper right into the wall, grabs it a little bit, but manages to hold on as he's dragging bumper through there. Very nicely done, keeping it safe on the wall and not dying. Brings it through that second last outside zone, painting the white line, does the same across that last outside zone. Finish line and 360 to end it off for it. So huge bonus points. You nailed both of the 360s at the end of the run, so the commentary loves that.
Absolutely.
Not going to reflect in your actual judge score, but we appreciate the effort.
Absolutely. Lucas is up to the line for his second run. Looking to improve off of 69.2. Floats out a little wide.
2.5 for Chill on the second run.
Gets out to that outer zone. Here comes the wall. Little
And the
tap.
wall has bit.
Getting out to the outside zone. Filling that nicely. Dropping a little tire.
Oh, and there he is. With the
Oh
360.
yeah. Love it. We'll see if that will help improve. Showmate, unfortunately, with an A 2.5, not able to improve. 1 point less. But we'll see Boogie's make his way back up to the line as well for his second run.
Absolutely, through that inside clip, very nicely done there. Transitioning through, grabs the second hash mark on that one, has to shout up an angle a lot to get out that outside zone. Now transitioning through the wall, and ooh, barely misses grabbing the wall with the back end of that E46. Manages to hold on to it and keeps it all the way out there through the rest of it as he paints the white line on the second to last. Transitioning through, looks like drops a little bit of tire on that last zone, but across the line. And looks like attempting to go for the 360, but not quite getting out there, grab the grass. So negative points from the commentary. No. Very, very good run. Very good run.
And this
Managing to
guy.
keep it off of the wall with that close of a proximity to it on the transition. Very nicely done.
There will be a 65 for Lucas. Unfortunately, not able to improve on that 69.2, but is not comfortably sitting in the good yet, sitting 30th. Still chance for him to get knocked out with this next round of drivers.
Yeah, especially when we consider the fact that there are runs that are going to be rescored after this. Due to all the
Exactly.
technical issues that we've been having.
Especially with a few of our drivers that started us.
We got Matty Spies here. Very nice
Deep.
on that inside clip.
Deep into that outside zone. Right in that wall. Keeping the bumper just off of it. Keeping it nice and smooth. Out to the white line in 4. Took him a little while to get there. But nice and final zone. No 360. But we'll take a good hang drift there. As Boogies will improve his score to a 77.5.
Yeah, definitely good to see that improvement for Boogie there. Now we're just waiting to see what happens with Matty Spies as we go to Dominic Moya transitioning through here for that inside clip. Now to that outside zone, putting the car right where it needs to be. Could have been a little bit deeper on the angle, but now transitioning towards that wall. A little bit shallow on the line side of things here, but holding the angle pretty good through that bank. Does keep the car in the zone. Very nice in the second to last outside zone, putting it all the way out there, and does the same thing on the last zone across the line.
Absolutely.
And there we go. He does go for the 360 there, and he achieves it that time.
Let's
Very nicely
go.
done.
A little shaky at the start there, but he looked like he was able to get it back under him.
And they did slot in a score for Matt Spies there with a 79.6. We'll see what comes for Dominic Moya.
Matt Spies under able to improve his score by 1.1. So we start to get these scores in for Dominic Moya, and then final group make their way in. And it will be a 75.5, unfortunately not able to improve. But as things stand,
pretty
sitting
safe
18th
right now.
Yep. That will, for the moment, lock him in.
Camera crew button in here. The cutoff right now is 50.5 for the top 32, with 5 drivers remaining.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we do have the rescores to come. So right now, cutoff asking set currently is a 50.5, as the camera crew just said, is what you got to get into the 32. However, do bear in mind we are going to see some change-ups happen after this is all said and done and we get to do some rescoring. As my content manager is freaking out right this second. Not sure what's going on over here.
Uh-oh.
Are we getting drivers loaded in? Looks like yes, here they come. That first driver up to the line here, really cool story going on there with Young. Was competing in the Drift PA Ohio New York series that was going on that just got shut down. Earning a chance to go out and drive a Pro-Am car at Lake Erie Speedway, which Lake Erie Speedway, I will be up there commentating for their Pro-Am series this year. So if anybody likes the Pro-Am stuff like what we're doing here, definitely tune into Lake Erie Speedway's events. I will be commentating that series, and Young will be out there at one point to go out and do some laps in a Pro-Am car. That was his reward for being the champion over at the Pahoney.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see what he gets to do here after putting on such a nice show over there.
Absolutely.
So he gets back up to the line.
And it seems like we only have, I think, 3 drivers to finish out this qualifying. We'll let them check the light, make sure everything is good.
No, I think that this is actually the scored run here. So Young is on the way through, and
No, because we just said red line as well.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say they're showing Young on the stream right now. I'm not sure if this is gonna count.
I'm not sure.
No. This isn't run.
Okay.
No, okay, perfect.
Yeah, okay,
Camera
cool.
guy
Just
coming in
making
here
sure.
to let us know that that is not the scored run. That's good to hear.
Yep.
So as soon as Young is done, we're gonna get reset on the tires, and we get Young back to the line. Very excited to see what Young puts down, both in this event here and what we're going to see him do up at Erie.
Absolutely. So we start to get
a couple more practice lines.
Just gonna butt in here as camera crew and just say I thought the S15 was gonna be the most popular car. It was actually the E36.
Yeah, no, definitely. E36 really took over the the leaderboard on that one.
Absolutely. And looks like we're going to go ahead and get things moving along here.
Trying to get Young back to the line here.
And here we are. And this should be the scored run here for Ramirez. Seeing what he can put down for a first run.
Trying to get all the other drivers off of the track here.
And away we go. Final group. Ramirez, big initiation, huge angle. Able to get it into that inside zone. Into the second as well. Filling the third zone really nicely. Nice and out to that wall, dragging it towards the end there, all the way out to that white line on that outside zone. Little bit of tire on the grass there to end it, but overall not too bad of a run.
No, not bad at all for Young coming out there on that first run. I got a little bit distracted because somehow I started a vote in the middle of that while I was typing, trying to get that other guy off of the track. But
that was you.
I'm pretty sure it was a vote to kick the camera guy because his job has been terrible.
It was to skip the session.
Skip the session entirely because we're tired and we want to go home.
That's what I thought. I was like, damn, someone just wants to leave. Huh?
It was the kick me. Don't listen to him.
Track there. Yeah, no, we are trying to get rid of him. Here we go, though. We've got, looks like, I believe this is Alexander going through here, initiating in. Very nice on that inside clip. Now transitioning through underneath the tire arch there. Only out to the between that third and second hash mark. Does shallow up on angle through that outside zone. Now transitioning in towards the wall. Putting the back end of the car right out there. Ooh, but he does grab the wall just a little bit, which causes a bobble and angle. But manages to hold on to it here as we go through the last transition. Through that last outside zone, very nicely placed and across the line. So it will still be a complete run. Just a lot of things you're going to have to get cleaned up there for the next part.
Absolutely. Ramirez in with an 80.2, locking himself into next day's competition. As we see
Redline, who we were worried wasn't going to make it today due to, believe it or not, a religious conflict. However, was able to make it here because of being in this later group, luckily.
Yep. Extremely lucky for him. He sends it in. Initiates real tight onto that inner clip. Same goes for 2. Nice and deep in that zone. What does he have for the wall here? Big hit, but he's able to hold on to it. Another little tap there at the end. Getting deep into that outside zone 4 and deep across the line. For what shouldn't be too bad of a score. But Alexander with a 69.2 for his qualifying run.
Yep, and just answering some questions in chat there and trying to make sure that I get to the right driver. Looks like we've got Jay in the hatch next.
No. Oh, yeah. There he is. Unsure of...
seeing exactly what's going on here now. Redline wasn't actually supposed to go yet. So it looks like there was a mix-up with the driver's steward. It was supposed to be Jay in the hatch there, but Redline ended up going. So I'm not sure if they're going
Interesting.
to let Red Lions score stand. Because Jane Hatch was here. He has been in the session waiting to go. And they are going to let Red Lions score stand. We're getting the total in right now.
As Jane the Hatch is going to get his first run.
I'm going to be honest, I don't remember if I'm commentating this one or you are. I think it's me, so there we go, right on that interclip. Gets it out there to that second interclip, doing it very nicely. However, does come up shallow on that outside zone. Now dragging it out to the wall.
Oh!
And there it is. Second hit on the start of the wall rather than in the middle tonight. Unfortunately, that is going to come out to a incomplete there, as he has to shut that down after hitting that wall.
Luckily,
Very
not as
unfortunate.
aggressive as the other one we saw.
Yeah, no, definitely not as hurt as what we had witnessed before.
But it will be a 71.44 red line on his scored run.
Very
Unfortunately,
nice score for Redline there.
Fortunately for Jane the Hatch, able to not get a score in there, but we got Ramirin up to the line for his second run.
I believe that we are missing out on Yakub tonight.
Yep, unfortunately.
Yakub, Jacob, however you pronounce it, depending on what country you're from. So many different ways to say Jacob, how to spell Jacob. Sometimes it doesn't even sound like how it looks, so you never know.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll see him come back for next round.
Just like my name.
Yeah. Kyle. What a fun name.
Oh yeah,
No, I get called
Kyle's another name like that.
Hoaxy a lot.
Well, that's because
Hoaxy?
people don't know what the word hoax is.
Yeah. Well, it looks weird when they're all capital letters, I'm gonna be honest. You know, you get those words that look different when they're in like a different font. Or like if they're in like a all caps or bold or something. You can always get that. I don't know if that's just a me thing, but Ramirin, ready to go for his second run. Good initiation. Getting tight on that inner clip there. Not too bad on the second. Getting nice all the way out there. Throwing it into that wall. Holding nice smooth line. All the way out to that white line in 4. And doing the same in 5. And a 360 to boot, baby. Yeah, come around with it. Yeah. There we go. That should definitely be an improvement, hopefully. From his 80.2. We'll see if he can't get up a little bit higher in that leaderboard. Currently sitting 17th. We start to see some of those scores make their way in.
Still not a bad place to be sitting right now as we see Alexander come back to the line in that E36.
Alexander, a driver looking to improve, is actually on the bubble right now with Lucas.
Oh, yes.
It will be an 87 for Ramirin.
Very good run for Ramirin as we see Alexander now initiate in. Does put the car in that zone. Could have been a little bit deeper, but does grab all of that inside clip. Now transitioning through, and could have been a little bit deeper on that inner clip as well. Has to shallow up on the angle to get all the way out to that outside zone. Now into the wall. Barely brushing the wall for a second there, but now about halfway through the zone for the rest of it. Playing it a little bit safe, it seems. Transitioning through, gets about halfway to the full amount throughout that zone. And pretty decent coverage on that last zone. Definitely not where he needed to be for a full-on improvement. But we'll see what the judges say. I think there's a very good chance that it could be at least a slight improvement there to bring him inside of the bubble instead of on the outside looking in.
Absolutely. That's what it's all going to be about.
So we'll see what the judges have to say as they are slotting in their scores here while we get ready for the next driver to go. Will be Red Line.
Still waiting on a score for Alex's second run. Driving for Slip Angle Squadron.
And it is going to be a 79.1. So it is a little improvement.
Absolutely, as we see red line. Not too bad on that inner clip, filling that nicely. Same in the second, getting onto that rumble strip a little bit. Getting real nice and deep into that zone. Big send into the walls, able to keep it in there, a little tap. Not really deep in 4. Can he improve in 5? Yes, he will. And across the line.
I had to use a little bit of left foot brake throughout that run. I say that, it almost looked like I was watching Dmitry Brutsky for a second there at E-Town. But he's making it work nonetheless. He is across that line, and see what the judges have to say here. Currently sitting on that 71.4.
Now he's not quite on the cutoff. That's where Cobalt Mongoose is. But still, with a few of the runs needing to be rescored, the more points, the better. As we start to see some of those points make their way in.
Oh, but it looks like the score is coming in here. Just waiting on the total for that.
And it will be a 78.5. Will improve. And will improve a good amount.
All right, as we switch it back over now to Jay in the hatch. Not in a hatch currently, but does get that initiation down this time. Puts the car right where it needs to be on that inside clip. Transitions through with a little bit of a weird transition, but makes it work. Now getting one tire at least into that outside zone, but not where he needs to be. Oh, and gonna shut it down to avoid completely going into the wall. Unfortunately, that is going to be a double incomplete for Jay in the hatch today. Very unfortunate. Not the way that you want to see that end for him. However, still a good thing that you came out here, put on a show nonetheless. Had some pretty good zones, just not working out with the car, it seems, today, or the track. So we'll see you back for the next round. Hopefully you bring it back a little bit harder.
All right, and that will do it. That was our final driver. And so let's take a look at least our top 5 drivers here. Anthony Taylor, absolutely outscoring in a league of his own with a 97.1. Dustin following in closely behind with an 89.6. Young Ramirin able to get himself into the top 3 with an 87. Lock to Lock slammed with an 86.4. And not too far behind him, closing out the top 5, Lester with an 85.6. Now, just another reminder, all of these numbers aren't confirmed. We will have to go through and rescore a few of them. But if you are following us on X3 Autosports or at our Oversteer Grand Prix page, we will be posting a full roster for tomorrow's event. And so we'll hope to see you there the same time, I believe.
Yes, and just as a reminder for all the drivers who are watching still before we close this out here, to reiterate exactly what the staff is telling everybody in the chat, it is currently